leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand.
We have several stacks of wood around the property, but this one is definitely getting low.
Majority of this room we had mudded and taped a while back ago, so a lot of it already has a second coat, and there's only a few areas that really do need a second coat. For instance, this is one that's not. The depth is perfect. It basically just needs to be sanded in a few areas, but not really sanded. So we basically just need to pick apart this room and figure out what needs extra coating, what doesn't, what needs to be sanded, what doesn't, and get it ready for drywall paint. And then I think I'm gonna go ahead and do a second coat on all of our window seals. We finished up the doors. I think they look great. You can't see the brush marks like I thought you would be able to. I love them. They're ready to be hung up, and I need to do the two doors that access the room. So the one from the bathroom and the one from the living room.
We're going to be tackling this room a little bit later on today, but sunlight is scarce right now. So we're going to utilize the sunlight that we have right now and get some stuff done outside.
The tractor, which is easily the most utilized tool on the property.
Heard from a lot of people asking us if we wish we got a bigger tractor, and honestly this thing's been perfect for us. We're not like farming out here or anything like that, so we don't need anything for like big agricultural purposes. We've really just used it for construction and building our house and everything, and utility, and it's done everything we've needed it to. I mean, I moved engine blocks with it, we got our fireplace in the house with it, it dug the foundation for everything, the storage building in the house. It built the lagoon. I mean, it's done everything we've needed it to, so it's been a pretty good tractor and we're pretty happy with it. But unfortunately, she's down right now. So I'm not really sure what happened or who was driving it. It could have been Summer, it could have been me. I don't know. But somebody ran over something and put a hole through the sidewall. I never actually found anything in it, so I'm assuming it was probably just like a tree branch or something that was really sharp that poked through it. I've tried to fix it, but being that it's on the sidewall, it makes it fairly difficult. I think we're just gonna run up to the Roll King and grab a tube to throw inside of it. And we're gonna get 3 more of these so I can put my other speaker on finally.
Going to the Roll King is always my favorite part because we hardly ever leave the property and we're just always here, so it's always an event. The other project that we're tackling today is all of these logs at the front. They were here when we first moved in. They're super dry, so they would make great firewood, and we want to remove them, but we need the tractor, so that's why we're fixing the tractor.
Unfortunately, they did not have the size that I needed. Our tractor is 18 by 8.5 by 10 on the front, and this is 20 by 8 by 10. So it's literally the closest I could find that they had, and it's either gonna work or it's not. We'll try it out, and I'll probably order the right size on Amazon for a backup.
It's getting pretty cold and we really only have room for one season at a time in our house, so I'm gonna start gathering a little bit of our winter stuff. When we moved from Texas, we bought this container to basically house all of our stuff.
And it's been super helpful for storage.
These are some extra cabinets that we had whenever we got our kitchen cabinets for literally 300 bucks. I reiterate, so cheap. Marketplace. Utilize Marketplace, people. But we've used them in here in the storage container as storage, and it's been super helpful. We have all of our winter clothes here, so I can just pull what I want and put what I don't need back in.
And also, since Summer's parents watch all of our videos, thanks for the shelves, guys.
And we can't forget Rocky's Carhartt because he's always so cold outside. All right, he's gonna give it a go, I guess. What are we thinking? Is it gonna work?
Don't know yet. Won't know until I blow it up. I mean, it fits around the rim so far, but we shall see. Looks like it worked.
So like I'm super confused because that's the same tire.
Yeah, so if you don't know what a tube for a tire is, basically it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just an inner tube that goes inside of the tire itself. So with most tires these days, they seal perfectly to the rim, and then you just have the valve stem in there to fill the actual tire itself up with air. With tractor tires or ATV tires, stuff like that, whenever the tread is still good on it, but you have a hole in it and you can't get it to stop leaking, with it still being a good tire, you don't want to go spend a bunch of money on a brand new tire when it's still fine. So if you just put a tube inside of it, then you're still able to fill it with air without having to replace it. So good as new. We also wanted to show you all this awesome firewood measuring tool that we got from Doug Scott, so thank you, Doug Scott. But basically it's just a magnet with an adjustable slider that you put on the end of your chainsaw, and then you can use it to make your marks, to know the size for your firewood as you're cutting it. So use it to make all your marks, take it off, and then cut it all the rest of the way, and then you got the same size, perfect firewood the whole way through.
Which was great because before he was using a tape measure every single time.
Yeah, it was super pain in the butt. I'll have Summer add the Amazon link if you want to get one for yourself.
So Cody's gonna get them all cut and then I'm gonna start splitting them. Multiple piles of wood throughout the property and they all mean different things. So this is all eventually going to be house wood that needs to dry a little bit longer. Behind me, Cody is cutting up logs that are dry and ready for the house, and so I'm about to go stack those in there. And then we have some piles that are more rotten and more to be burnt outside. So lots of different wood processes going here, and our main goal is just to try to get more dry wood for the house. I'm gonna first replenish the stack we have for the house, inside the house, and then I'm going to start replenishing the racks outside, waiting until, you know, we need more wood.
You got it?
No, will you take it in?
Yeah.
Fireplace tool set from our Amazon wish list and it didn't come with a thank you note, so I can't properly thank you. So if you sent this, please reach out. I would love to properly thank you. And yeah, we love it. Thank you so much. It's definitely going to come in handy because Cody tends to burn himself.
No, it don't.
Yes, you do. Before we cut this log, I wanted to show y'all, well, Cody wanted to show y'all, but he handed me the camera. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I don't know. It looks like a whole bunch of little trees spurted up to make one big tree. Or if that's not what happened, tell me what happened because I've never seen that, but super interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool looking.
It's super dry, so it's gonna work great for the house.
How come the stars come to shine when it's dark? From so far away, show us where we are. What makes the sun go to sleep every night? And what's it dreaming of?
These are the projects that Cody does let me do. The craft work.
Oh, really?
I'm just kidding, I volunteered.
How come the sky sometimes hides behind the clouds? Maybe it's just like me, a little bit scared of heights.
I'm gonna refill my propane bottles, that way I can start the fire.
When it's gray outside, it really makes me wonder.
So we were gonna finish off today's video building a wood storage area for all of our sawmill wood to be able to dry at. But then I was kind of standing here thinking like, I don't really want to build a whole drying area over here when I plan on moving the whole sawmill out of this area in the first place. I think what we're gonna do is for our next video, we're gonna be moving our sawmill, putting a whole bunch of upgrades into it, and then we're going to be building a wood drying area, so definitely stay tuned for that one. We originally put the sawmill here because it was the most relatively flat area that we could find without having to cut a bunch of trees down and do a bunch of dirt work and all that. And it just happened to be here, and it's been here ever since. Still not super level, so one end of the sawmill is really high off the ground. It's hard for me to be able to get to the controls on it. It's hard to be able to get logs up onto it. So when we relocate it, that's pretty much what we're going to be focusing on, is getting it a lot lower to the ground, easier to be able to load our logs onto it, and overall just make it more efficient.
Cody's done a bunch of dirt work up at the front of the property, so I think that's where we're gonna move it, up where that other storage container is that I showed you in the beginning of the video. And then overall, we wanna just try to keep this space more of a homey entertainment family space, and then up at the front where the storage container is more of a work area where we have all of the cars and toys, and where he's gonna eventually have his garage area. Now that we've been here for a while, we've kind of got a feel for how we want things. We really want to try to take our time and put more attention into each of our areas and just, you know, make it our forever place, because when we build our other home, it's still going to be on this, in this vicinity. So we're going to be here, you know, essentially forever. We're gonna finish the last couple parts of mudding and taping in here tonight, but I kind of wanted to show you an example of what we're looking for and what we're doing in terms of sanding down our walls. This obviously needs to be sanded. It's raised from the wall. This is about, it needs to be sanded a little bit more, but it's for the most part very level. And then right here, you can see the tape, and so this tells us that we need to put more mud right here. We're gonna go along all of the seams and figure out what needs to be touched up. He's gonna use a damp sponge to collect all the dust before we start mudding and taping again. Bee's here. Say hi.
Hey.
So let's make some dinner. I'm just gonna make a Cajun shrimp pasta, and the first thing that I'm gonna do is cook up my shrimp and just kind of get them, you know, pink on both sides. These are pretty much cooked all the way through, so I'm gonna set them aside and they'll finish in the pasta, and I'm gonna start working on my sausage. I'm gonna add a bowl on top so they continue to steam and stay warm. I'm gonna add a little bit of brown sugar and then some Cajun seasoning as well. I'm gonna add a can of crushed tomatoes, about a cup of chicken broth, and about a cup of heavy cream. Add Parmesan. If you ever have an issue getting anything to thicken, just add a teensy bit of cornstarch, not too much though. So we have our sauce, and then our noodles. Oh, you're gonna show how unhealthy I am?
Always adding that extra butter.
Okay, you know the drill. We'll see in a little bit. The last thing y'all saw was dinner. We ended up just having family night last night, playing a whole ton of Mario Kart and just hanging out with the dogs. B went home. We have a ton of work we need to get done, so let's head into the bedroom and start. You always have to start with a relatively clean work area. And this is pretty much relatively clean for us. Got your tools all clean?
Oh yeah.
While Cody works on his final layer of mud and tape in a few places, I shouldn't say tape because there's not really anywhere that needs to be tape, it's mostly just mud. So while he works on that, I'm going to be starting on the outside doors to the living room and bathroom. These doors have the same water damage, but just like the closet ones, it's just cosmetic. There's no wilting or anything like that.
We did our first layer. We were pretty much just trying to hide the seams between the two pieces of drywall by using the tape and the mud. But now that that's all dried and we've sanded it and got it smooth and can see where the imperfections are still at, now we're going to try and get rid of those imperfections and actually hide the tape itself. And if we can hide the tape itself, then we're good to paint.
like my closet doors, these doors are covered in dog hair as well. So we also need to give them a good wipe down. The reason I don't want to use any sort of cleaning product, and I'm sure there's safe ones out there to use, is because I don't want to run the risk of my paint not sticking or there being some sort of film that just reacts with the paint. So it's just easier for me to use a dry cloth, and it works just the same by scrubbing just a little bit harder. I made a super quick lunch for Cody and I, and then we're gonna get back to work.
What you doing?
Looking at paint colors.
You find any?
Yes, so I want to do a contrast wall. I wanted to do a shiplap wall, but everybody says shiplap's out. I don't care. I'm still going to do shiplap at some point. However, I can't do it anytime soon because if I would have told Cody that, we probably wouldn't have done drywall where I wanted to do it. Whole other story. Anyways, I want to do a contrast wall instead. And I don't want something too dark because it's going to close off the space. So I've been looking at light colors and I'm thinking something like this.
Oh, I dig it.
I'm thinking for this wall, since it'll be behind our bed. So our bed, nice pop of color, and then maybe just like tan on the rest of the walls.
So I got our second coat of mud finished. Everything looks pretty good. There's a couple spots that we just need to touch up with the sander once everything's dry, and then we're ready for paint.
What's next, baby?
Guess we're gonna caulk the trim.
Oh, look at the sleepy boy. I'm gonna be painting our trim the same antique white that we painted our doors.
So I usually like to cut it at a little bit of an angle, and then you're just gonna put a little bit of caulk in there if it ever starts going. There it is. And if you're wondering why we use caulk, it's because caulk is flexible. So since, you know, the door frames get hit whenever you go to close doors and stuff like that, everything's constantly moving. So using caulk ensures that it's not going to crack later. Don't always need fancy tools.
I put a poll on our Instagram, and I'll leave our Instagram handle right here, regarding paint colors and what I want to do for this contrast wall. So make sure you go check that out. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps so much. But I figure let's answer a couple questions, and then I already know this video is getting so long. We need to run to the store, grab paint, grab some other stuff, and then start on the next project. So let's do some questions. Also, with Thanksgiving being next week, I think I'm going to film Thanksgiving because we're having it at our house, and I'm going to be doing a lot of the cooking. So if you are interested in seeing that, make sure you comment below. I know it's going to be chaotic, but I'm really going to try. I've been scrolling here for a hot minute, and I cannot find any. A lot of positivity, a lot of great suggestions. Some people want to know how the postcards are coming. They are coming great. I have 4 total, so not enough to do a big project with, but I have them all hanging up on my fridge, and I love and cherish them all. So If you want to send us a postcard, please send us one, and I will send them back. I have not sent mine out yet. Bear with me. I'm not really seeing anything, just a whole lot of love. So,
Thanks, guys.
and we'll see y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.
There you go.
Midday.
Midday, because I'm pretty sure it's sunset. Unfortunately.
Midday coffee. Okay, back to work.
Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life?